Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Wow, I think I overdid it. Yeah, I did. John, I can't help it. It's Norm Shealy's fault. It's all Norm Shealy's fault. Oh, jeez. Everyone all set? Cocked, locked, here we go. John Regan's with us. This is USAPrepares.com. And if you'd like to call us, I've got the call screen up. And 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. That's the call-in line. Now, if you'd like to listen, we can help you with that. 24 hours a day, there's a listen line. You can call on your phone and listen to USA Prepares 24/7. 605-562-7727. 605-562-7727. And we have so many listeners, literally, that there's another listen line, and that's 605-562-4080. 605-562-4080. Trevor's engineering the broadcast in Minnesota, doing a great job. By the way, we just made it. Trevor said to me, we were chatting just before the broadcast started, and he said, well, it's about time. And we had like just seconds. That was the closest we've ever cut it, Trevor. So John Regan's with us. Hey, Johnny, I wanted to tell you, I was on the tractor. I was on this antique tractor. I just love it's a Ford 3000 built around 1974. And so I was just doing some tractor therapy with the chain harrow, spreading the manure that the cows left on one of the small fields. And I looked at the trees, and I got a chance to get close to them. The trees are dying. And these are hardwood trees that the bark looks really sick. And when trees are healthy, the limbs reach toward the sky. Well, these limbs are reaching toward the ground. These are trees that are, let's say 40, 50, 60 years old plus. Those are the ones that are dying. Young trees are okay. It's the older trees that are dying. So I was pulling this spreader that had 6,000 pounds of fertilizer in it with another tractor, a bigger tractor, in some of the other fields. And let's see, I fertilized about 5 or 6 fields over the weekend with 6,000 pounds of fertilizer. And I got a chance to get up close, going slowly near trees and other fields that we have. Same thing. The older trees are dying. The limbs are falling down. They look really, really sick. There is more wood that has fallen down on our farm than we could possibly burn to heat our house. Way more. And it's horrible to watch this. At the same time, the grass is growing like crazy. And I believe that it's because of all of the rain and moisture and the, we have cloudy days. There's some sun, but mostly cloudy. I guess that would be the forecast from now on. Mostly cloudy, mostly overcast. And so we have some sunlight, but not enough to burn the moisture out of the ground. And I think that's why the plants, the grass plants, are doing so well. John, are you seeing something like that in Texas?
No, and I think the difference is we're not seeing as many chemtrails here.
Okay. So your skies are brighter?
Yeah, most of the time. It's been overcast quite a bit this past weekend, on some very serious storms as well. When we took out of here Friday, it was a little bit of rain, but they had over 50,000 people without power Friday evening just from those storms. And then last night, there was a number of tornadoes in North Texas, at least 5, possibly as many as a dozen. They're still working on sorting that out. So it's been a rough weekend weather-wise. But normally, when I look out here, it's rare that I see chemtrails. Mostly I look up and see normal sky.
Okay. Well, I'm very concerned about the trees, and it's not normal. It is absolutely not normal to see 40-year-old trees just dying. And it's not because of the drought. We don't have a drought here yet. I mean, we have in the past, but right now there's no sign of a drought. The ground is moist, and there's plenty of moisture for the trees to uptake. So it's not that. It's the chemicals. I believe it's the chemicals, the air pollution that's just killing these trees. And I think it's kind of like the seniors among us are having a tough time. I'm talking about humans are having a tough time. And the trees that are seniors are having a tough time. The young ones are doing okay for now. And that's because they're not seniors yet. So I just wanted to share that. I want to talk about something else, John. I put a battery in one of our lawnmowers. And this lawnmower is an antique. I believe it's a 1962. It could be a 1964, but it's 1960, right around 1962, plus or minus a couple of years. Well, it's a Cub Cadet, and back then, Cub Cadet, they were yellow, and made by International Harvester, the truck company, the farm equipment company. They made fabulous, fabulous equipment. Well, this lawnmower, or this riding lawnmower, if you will, has about a 42-inch mower, 3 blades, brilliantly engineered. The mower deck is made out of cast aluminum, so it won't rust. 53 years old, and it's still going strong. It has the original tires, the original front tires, the original back tires, the original seat. It's all original, except for I've replaced the engine, maybe a decade ago, maybe a little longer. It's a 10 horsepower single-cylinder Kohler USA manufactured engine. The whole machine is made in the United States. I've put multiple batteries in it over the years, and it uses those universal lawnmower type tractor batteries, small ones. Other than air cleaners, oil changes, spark plugs, that's it. That's all that this tractor's ever had, except for, replacing the engine. Because we wore it out. After maybe 40 years. And I happened to be at the Chinese factory outlet. And they had the battery that I needed. And so we went to Marshfield. Because we don't go to Lebanon anymore. We are boycotting Lebanon, Missouri. So I went to Marshfield. They had this particular battery. And it was on sale. Or actually, they were closing them out at $20, $19 and change. So I bought the battery. And I decided to look at the lawnmowers that they had for sale. Nothing like the quality of the 1960s. Nothing like it. Everything's thinner. The paint is better. Paint looks great. But underneath that paint, the decks are flimsy. The Chinese have made the engines for these tractors, except for the Briggs & Stratton. Now, there's a Briggs & Stratton engine. But you know what? The Chinese engines have overhead valves. More efficient design, theoretically. The Briggs & Stratton engines, valve in block. Less efficient. I can't believe it. How's this happen? We can't keep up. What's going on? Anyway, the quality of the deck, the quality of the wheels is just not there on these push mowers. Not as good as it was back in the 1960s. So we're falling down. And I'm trying to figure out how a Cub Cadet made by MTD now, was bought by MTD, the Murray Company. You see Murray lawnmowers? Same organization. I'm trying to figure out how one of their new Cub Cadets would last 53 years and keep going. I think this tractor has another 53 years in it. I really do. It'll probably need new tires by the next 53 years, but the rest of it is really going strong. John, what do you think?
I think you might be lucky if your replacement parts last 6 months.
You hit a button. I was on the internet last night. I thought, you know what? I need to change the hydraulic fluid in one of our tractors. It's a John Deere Model 2950. This thing was built around 1985. It's a big tractor, and it weighs around 12,000 pounds with the front end loader on it. So I want to change the oil, and it takes 15 gallons. 15 gallons of oil, hydraulic fluid. And I thought, I've got a shop manual for it, but I wonder if I go to eBay and I'll find a shop manual that's more complete than the one I have. $180 for a paperback shop manual for this tractor. That's nuts. This is not, a bound book. Do you remember there used to be called a book called Motors Repair Manual? And it was like a shop manual for, it'd have Ford and Chevrolet and Chrysler, and it had Plymouth, had all these brands in it. In one book. It was kind of like as thick as a Bible, except it was, 8.5 by 11. It was a large, thick, probably 500 pages or more. And you could buy it for $11. Here we're looking at and that had all kinds of vehicles in it. All kinds of years, makes, models. If you had Motors Repair Manual, you could probably fix whatever it was that you needed to fix on whatever vehicle you needed to fix, as long as it was an American vehicle. For $11. Now, just one shop manual in paperback for a tractor is $180. Now, you can save a lot of money. You can get that shop manual on a CD for about $80. Save $100. Can you imagine that? How does this happen? Now, I like John Deere tractors. I just don't like the company. I don't like their attitude toward the customers. John Regan, I'll be right back. By now, you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Have you ever felt like the United States government knows way too much about your financial affairs? I continue to hear stories about property seizures, frozen accounts, confiscation of stocks and bonds. It makes me wonder if the U.S. citizen will ever again have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, with the Drug and Money Laundering Act, the IRS Revenue Ruling 6045 of 1984, and the Trading with the Enemy Act and Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order of 1933, some precious metal holdings are subject to government intervention. For this reason, Midas Resources has prepared a report explaining the boundaries of trading precious metals privately. Whether if you have any intention of trading with Midas Resources or not, I have instructed my representatives to give this report out free. Call for your free copy at 1-800-686-2237. When investing, always proceed with caution. Again, call 1-800-686-2237. Exercise your legal right to trade metals privately. 1-800-686-2237.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
On the average, Americans work between 45 to 50 years, hoping to build up enough wealth to retire and live out their golden years. Unfortunately, with taxation, the rising cost of food, energy, housing, and medical, many retirees are forced to live below the poverty line. Is this a flaw free enterprise, or is our monetary unit we call the Federal Reserve Note forcing us into perpetual debt, ensuring inflation and higher taxes? These questions and more can be answered by reading G. Edward Griffin's book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Congressman Ron Paul states it's what every American needs to know about central bank power, a gripping adventure into the secret world of international banking cartel. Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I will give a silver dollar from the early 1900s to anyone who purchases this book. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order a copy today. It's critical that the public be made aware of the system. Call and order your copy today at 1-800-686-2237. That's 1-800-686-2237.
Captain John Reagan's with us. U.S. Air Force Reserves retired. He's with us every Monday. And the website, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. John, I'm at the news tab. Where shall we start?
Well, I'm going to cover a couple of things that's not on the tab. It's been an interesting few days. Of course, Thursday was on the air with you, and that was the 29th anniversary of my 29th birthday. It only comes around once. And then
you're just a youngster in my book.
And then Thursday and Friday was the 40th anniversary of our high school class, which was the last graduating class of Beaumont High. And in addition to our reunion, we hosted for the entire 70s decade. So we got the people that were the underclassmen that last year, as well as the people that graduated earlier in the 70s. And it was it was nice to see everyone, and we really did have a pretty good school there. So Becky and I went down Friday, and we decided to go through Houston, especially since the check-in time at the hotel is 3 p.m., so we needed to kill a little bit of time getting down there. And we hadn't been to Houston in a while, so driving through there, and was surprised at all the new things that weren't there last time. And we go across Interstate 10 to Beaumont and get there and start seeing all the things that are no longer there that from the last time we were there. And I think in Texas we've got an unusual economy. One, it's done fairly well because of oil over the past few years. And of course, Texas is now suffering because of the drop in oil prices. And that's, with large economies like this, it takes time for that pain to really filter down. And I expect to see more of that as the months go along. And the big cities have also been beneficiaries of the bad economies in other states, along with the bad politics of other states. There's been a number of corporations that have relocated to Texas because of the business climate, and that's helped, boost the income here and also drive up housing prices. But Texas is only going to be an island for so long before that high water reaches us. And it was kind of sad to see what's happened to Beaumont. When I was growing up there, we had, I think, 122,000 people. We were the 10th largest city in Texas, one of the top 100 markets in the nation. Now we're not even close to being the 10th largest in Texas. The population is 118,000. So for the last 40 years, the growth rate's been negative. And a lot of things just aren't there anymore. And so much of the new construction that we saw there was either government buildings, schools, or the medical buildings, new hospitals and the associated clinics and everything else. But very little of the private sector, unless it was a big, corporate type store, was there. Either we'd see a lot of the small strip centers where you're anchored with the convenience store and gas station, and you've got the nails and various mom and pop stores, but and especially traveling through other towns in East Texas, we see where a lot of mom and pop stores don't even exist anymore. So it was a bit bittersweet. And we also took a trip down the street where I grew up on for the first 9 years. And the street's only about 3/4 of a mile long. And in that trip, we saw 3 houses that were in such, they were like the Detroit condition. You couldn't even fix them. You'd need to take them down to the foundation. And I'll tell you the rest of the conditions when we get back from the break.
Captain John Regan's with us. I'm Vincent Finelli. This is USAPreparedness.com. Meet up tonight, Jimmy's Egg, and we're going to be talking about the Blue Plague, men in black dresses, and we might even show a movie, Walmart, the high cost of low price. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
If the IRS has garnished your paycheck or seized money from your bank account, you need to get professional tax help now. Fast action is required to put a halt to these aggressive IRS collection tactics. You can count on the knowledgeable team of tax professionals at Wall & Associates. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has settled the tax problems of thousands of taxpayers for a small fraction of what they owed. For a free face-to-face consultation, call 1-800-425-4610 to put a wall between you and the IRS. 1-800-425-4610 or look for us on the web at wallandassociates.net. We solve tax problems. If you hire Wall & Associates today, you'll never have to talk to the IRS again. To stop the levies and seizures today, take action now. Call Wall & Associates at 1-800-425-4610. Wall & Associates, 1-800-425-4610. Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
So we decided to upgrade the look of our home.
Improve the curb appeal.
We decided to add the look of stone to the exterior.
We really like the stacked stone look.
Yeah, but when I checked into the price, it was ridiculous. No way could we afford it.
Then a friend told me about Genstone. Genstone.
Genstone comes in lightweight panels made of polyurethane. They've actually engineered the hassle out of installation. No mortar, no mesh. It was easy. Even I could do it.
We just screwed the panels to the wall and it looks like stone. I mean, it really looks like stone.
Yeah, from the box to the wall in minutes.
We love the look of our home now.
And Gemstone is durable, comes with a 25-year warranty, and offers additional R-value for insulation.
If you want the look of stone at a price you can afford, call Gemstone
at 855-955-STONE.
Trust me, you'll save money.
And you'll love the look.
855-955-STONE. That's 855-955-7866.
Hi, John Hubner from Midas Resources. Are you tired of watching your hard-earned assets dwindle away? As government spending is out of hand and the Federal Reserve is creating in excess of $20 billion a week, are you tired of stockbrokers gambling away your hard-earned money? Is this market a setup for a crash greater than 1987? Too many of today's policies resemble those that led to the collapse of 1929. This is John Hubner, and that was me in 2007. And we all know what happened when the subprime credit bubble burst. By March 2009, the dollar lost 50% of its value. The entire U.S. banking system was on the verge of collapsing. Like all financial problems of the past, is history about to repeat itself? Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129, before it's too late to protect yourself. Will the oncoming catastrophe take all private IRAs, 401ks with it? There is a way to protect your hard-earned assets. Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129.
Attention taxpayers! If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 877-345-7645. That's 877-345-7645. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately at 1-877-345-7645. That's 1-877-345-7645. 1-877-345-7645.
John Regan's with us. And John, you were telling us about what you saw in Texas, the changes. And some of them are not very pleasant.
You know, like I say, going down the street where I lived, we had 3 houses that, you know, no choice but to tear those down. I'm not really sure what happened. It could have been they got damaged when Rita went through Beaumont 10 years ago, and nobody was around or had the ability to repair them after that damage. On the other end of the scale, we noticed about 3 houses on the street that were in fantastic condition, really well kept, and they looked so out of place. There were probably about a half dozen vacant lots that had been vacant so long that they looked just like ordinary lawns. And there were probably another, 4 or 5 houses that were in severe need of upkeep. And this was a nice neighborhood, 40 and 50 years ago. Not, not the rich, but as far as a middle class neighborhood, it's what you would expect in normal America.
I drove through Hartville, Missouri. There's a bank there we've been going to for years, ever since we moved here. And, I've been seeing the decline of Hartville, and I tried to ring the alarm and let the county administration know that the Second Great Depression was on its way. And we'd be serious, and we'd see inflation, we would see shortages, we would see companies needing financial assistance from the government. We were going to see all this. And they, kind of laughed at me. Well, so I went to the bank within the last few days, and saw one of the ladies I see all the time. Actually, same team is there. It's been there for the last 10 years. And the bank was serving fish. So if you went to the bank, they would serve you lunch, fried fish. They always have popcorn cooking. They always have coffee. So free coffee, free popcorn. Once in a while, they serve lunch. Nothing's working. Well, Hartville is the county seat of Wright County, Missouri. There's one gas station, and there used to be two. There's one. There's one restaurant. There used to be two. The auto parts store is gone. Half the buildings are empty. There's a school there. Now, the school is right there in the center of town. So you have the county government buildings. You have United States Postal Service is there. You have a bank there. And half the town's empty. So that's the center of commerce for, the area. And it's dying. And I said to the lady behind the counter at the bank, so who killed Hartville? And she kind of looked at me and I surprised her with that question. I guess she saw the decline in business, but she didn't think about it in those terms. Who killed the town of Hartville? And I believe it has a lot to do with the economy. I also believe it has a lot to do with that rent-a-cop that they had at the bottom of the hill. So when you're traveling down the road into Hartville, coming down this steep hill, that if you do 1 mile an hour over the speed limit, you're going to get a ticket. I have a feeling it has to do with him sniping. And the economy. And it's happening all over rural America. And if you look, here's something that I noticed, a lack of attention to detail. And if you look at businesses, great businesses, like in the 1980s, Tom Peters did a review of what makes great businesses great. And at the time, Disney was considered a great business. At the time, McDonald's was considered a great business. IBM was considered a great business. They took care of their customers, all three of those companies, at that time. Well, attention to detail. The custodians who walked the park at Disney would have these brooms on a stick, a small stick, and they would have these dustpans on a stick. And if they saw a cigarette butt on the ground, they'd sweep it up immediately. Little wrappers, candy wrappers, whatever they saw that was out of place, they would take care of it immediately. And the plan was to take care of it so that you didn't see it. Now, maybe you didn't say, wow, this place is immaculate, but it was. And it's because of attention to detail. There was no peeling paint. Everything was maintained 24/7. So you go to Hartville, Missouri, and you see a railing, and it looks like it's homemade. And you look at paint, and it's mismatched. And you look at the colors, and they're ridiculous colors. And you look at the lawn that's not cut in front of some of the buildings. And you look at the roofs that are falling apart. And the lines are not straight. They're sagging on buildings. And you look at the unwashed windows. And you look at the junk piled up inside store windows, because for the last 7 years, no one decided to move it. And it looks like abandoned buildings with junk inside. That's the center of Hartville, Missouri. And no one seems to be paying attention. And it's happening all across America. We're not paying attention. We're not paying attention to the trash. I said to this gal behind the counter at the bank, who killed Hartville? She said, people don't care. And I've been thinking about that for days, riding around the tractor. Exactly her words. People don't care anymore. And I was trying to figure out what she meant by that. I think she means that people have lost a sense of pride. They don't seem to be concerned with their lawn being out of place from their neighbors. It used to be that in neighborhoods, you didn't want your lawn to be in worse shape than anybody else's. You wanted to be up there with the top. You wanted to keep up with the Joneses. You wanted to have your house painted, the shrubs trimmed, the flowers planted, the lawn cut. You didn't want trash lying around. That was then. That was the 1960s. And we've been in decline ever since. And now it's really rapid. Now, even on our dirt road, we have very few people come. But why is it? Why is it that we find cans and bottles now? Why? More and more. It's not like it's a dump. It's not that. Don't get me wrong. But why should I have to patrol a mile of frontage for the farm and pick up the cans and the wrappers that people throw out in the bags. Why should I have to do that? How do they get there? I guess it's because we don't care.
Speaking of banks, I think I found a bank for you. Unfortunately, it's not in your neighborhood.
I saw that. My bank has not my bank, the bank which I patronize, has a sign that says, Vinny, keep your gun in your car or truck. Really? Tell us about it.
Well, we're now back on the website. First link I have in the financial section. I've got titled "A Bank for Vincent," and this is a a bank in Chapel Hill, Texas, and it's got a sign posted. Notice: lawful concealed carry permitted on these premises. They welcome people with guns there, and since they've done that, they've not had an armed robbery since.
Well, I was gonna suggest that would be the case. If other businesses felt the same way, there would be fewer armed robberies, because people would say, I don't know if that guy next to me is armed or not. And you know what? It's probably not worth getting shot. They know that the cops are, not there. They know that. And they know that it takes a long time for the police to get there. And the police will probably shoot whoever calls them anyway, instead of, the perpetrators. But if you have we, the people, armed, that's a real problem for the bad guys, the real bad guys. And by the way, I wonder if that's why they don't allow guns in government buildings. Think about that. They don't allow guns in government buildings. I guess they think that the government employees will get shot. Because who the heck wants to go to a government building anyway? Nobody I know wants to go there. You are ordered to go there at the muzzle of their guns, right? And you want to make sure that they're the only ones that have the guns.
An interesting bit of trivia on this bank. It was the only bank in the United States that didn't close during the FDR bank holiday.
The only one that didn't close.
Right. So it's rather unique.
Mm-hmm. I need to go visit that bank. I think, let me see. I'd like to call, and it's a small bank, John. It's not a big bank. Right? Am I confused?
Nope.
It says Chapel Hill Bank, capital, $45,000 in gold, established 1907.
And they say that gold's valued at over $2 million now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can call the CEO or the president. I guess it would be the president of the bank. And it looks. I'll tell you what this little town looks like. It looks like a cleaned up version of Hartville, Missouri. That's what it looks like. The town that I've been describing. Yep. On the inside, it looks the same. And it says, lawful concealed carry permitted on these premises. Management recognizes the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution as an inalienable right of all citizens. We therefore support and encourage the carrying of licensed concealed weapons. Pretty soon, if they follow Missouri's lead, it will just say, we therefore support and encourage the carrying of concealed weapons. Forget the word licensed. Because in Missouri, we have an amendment that says we have an unalienable right to be armed. John Regan, I'll be right back. John, what's coming up next?
We'll see if we can finish off the financial section.
Okay. TheFinancialStateOfTheUnion.com, John Regan. And I will be right back. Meet up tonight, Jimmy's Egg, The Blue Plague, Men in Black Dresses, and I'd like to show a movie. The High Cost of Low Price. The Destruction of the United States of America by Walmart and the Clintons and their ilk. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs. I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11, and I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Youngevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right, that's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100-foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit GoBerkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey guy. Can heart and body extract help with other ailments besides heart conditions, high blood pressure, clogged arteries, or unbalanced cholesterol? It did for Karen.
I've been using heart and body extract for approximately 2 weeks. I've had an earwax buildup problem for many years, with over-the-counter stuff not working at all. I had very poor hearing due to this earwax buildup. Well, after 2 weeks of taking heart and body extract, my earwax buildup almost completely cleared up. Could this be the effect of better body circulation?
Heart and Body Extract is an effective 100% organic nutritional supplement specially formulated to allow your body to heal itself.
My hearing is almost completely back to normal. I'm amazed.
Order by calling 866-295-5305 or online at hbextract.com. That's 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract for a long and healthy life.
John Regan's with us. Captain John Regan, and we're at the news tab of the financial state of the union.com. John, please continue.
Well, covering financial news, Obamacare costs are rising, but at the same time, the ability to pay falls. And the report says that the ability to pay for select medical procedures fell by more than 11% last year. We have 52% of Americans that think that the economy is good. And
John, how is that, John? How is that possible?
They don't listen to us.
52% of Americans think the economy is good. Wow. I wonder if they've been to the stores. You know, I wonder if they tried to buy a hydraulic filter for a tractor. It's now $30. Used to be like $10. Now it's $30. I wonder if they've tried to buy any repair parts. I wonder if they've noticed that that companies are now claiming that you can't do it-yourself repairs on tractors because you're violating copyright laws. Because the companies that manufacture the equipment claim they have a copyright to the software that runs a computer that's in your tractor. So you think you buy a tractor, but yeah, well, you do, except for, you know, the operating system that runs the engine, the hydraulics, and everything else. You don't own that. You just own everything but the operating system.
Yeah, well, we'll
and
get
if you
to
try
that
to
next
fix it
hour.
yourself. Oh, okay, great. Well, I'm just getting warmed up. All right.
And McDonald's continues to come out with bad news. In the U.S., fell 2.6% year over year, and total global 2.3%, and probably even worse than that, total revenue sank 11%. And then the last article, they've announced they're closing hundreds of stores this year. It's closed 350 and says we'll close another 350, and could even get to be more than that.
They have 36,000 outlets in over 100 countries, right?
Right.
And they're closing over 100, is it?
Over three, well, it'll be total of about 700.
700 stores. And the staggering thing to me about all this, John, was that the total revenue sank 11%. So if we have inflation, and whatever inflation really is, let's say it's 10%, and the revenue sank 11%, that'd be like a 21% hit. Is that correct, or is my logic wrong?
That's right. And even just the 11% drop, that is devastating for any company. You just don't have that type of margin and the ability to make up the loss in income.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how long do you think they could sustain an 11% drop? Do you think they could do it for 3 years in a row?
Well, that's one of the advantages to being a big company is you've got some deep pockets and some creditworthiness. For a mom and pop store, it's a different story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sell more shares. McDonald's can sell more shares, maybe.
Now, their franchisees don't have as much flexibility.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. And from what I've read, McDonald's franchisees are looking for some kind of guidance from corporate headquarters. They want a menu change. They want, just give it to us. Whatever it is, give it to us, because they're desperate. That's what I've been reading. Are you reading the same?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, there you go. Captain John Regan's with us. Hour number 2 coming up, and I guess we're going to learn about software.
Yeah, we're going to get to spy tech and control coming up.
Oh, boy. That's what we need. More control. More control. Meet up tonight. Jimmy's Egg. 4:45 to 8 o'clock, Springfield, Missouri, on Battlefield. We take over Jimmy's Egg, the restaurant. We have dinner and seminars, and it's all free. Tonight, I'll be there. We'll be right back.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document? Worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average over 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
Hi everyone, I'm Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist and host of The Bright Side. The good news about nutrition and health. The good news that if you or someone you care about is on a prescription drug or has some kind of health challenge, there's a gentle, natural, healthy way to address most health issues without drugs and without doctors, and it's as simple as understanding how the parts of the body work and how they interact with the foods we eat and the nutrients we take in. If you've heard me on The Bright Side or at one of my presentations, you know I'm a man on a mission to help you understand health and wellness and the remarkable healing powers of the biological system called the human body. And if you like The Bright Side, you're going to love my new website, brightsideben.com. You'll find articles and links, you'll be able to access archives, and we'll even have exclusive information that you won't hear on the radio show. And of course, you can purchase the Youngevity nutritional supplements and even sign up to join my Youngevity team and make an impact, make a difference, and maybe make some money too. Check out brightsideben.com. That's brightsideben.com, or call 866-735-2470 for more.
By now, you may have heard a bit about Bitcoins. But did you know Bitcoins are now over an $8.5 billion market? And did you know that over 65,000 businesses now accept Bitcoins? Listen, if you're already earning Bitcoins or trying to make money in the Bitcoin market, you've got to know bidbit.co. Why? Because bidbit.co is where you can easily receive Bitcoins by selling and auctioning off your own personal items or promote business products and services for Bitcoins. You heard right. Whether personal or business, you can now buy, sell, and auction your products and services quickly, easily, and securely for Bitcoin at bidbit.co, the first and only marketplace website to offer Bidbit Escrow, a proprietary technology which gives buyers and sellers security and peace of mind because all transactions are protected. Start today. It's free to join, free to post, free to auction, and free to bid at bidbit.co. Buy, sell, bid, or auction everything Bitcoin. That's www.bidbit.co, bidbit.co.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com with Captain John Regan, U.S. Air Force Reserves retired. Captain John Regan, we have Miles from the European Union with us. Welcome, Miles.
Good morning, gentlemen from Europe. Good afternoon from my side here.
Miles, it's always great to hear your voice. What's up?
Thank you. I was just listening in today, and I wanted to share with you some data about the automotive industry and the transmission businesses in the United States that are in decline there pretty heavily. The transmission business, like you had all these transmission shops, these chains in the United States, and they had to start in the 90s, end of the 90s. They had to start to offer car repair services as well in order to survive, because the transmission business was going down from end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s. Today, the picture has changed even more. There is a process going on where the larger corporations are buying out the smaller ones in order to concentrate the market, and there are businesses that are in decline of 50% of their businesses. And of course, they're closing down, and of course, employees as well as business owners have to refocus and have to find new jobs and venues to create income.
Miles, I was talking to some of our friends in various industries within the preparedness community, and I made the statement that I believed that long-term survival type food was in decline. And I believed that this was maybe 6 to 9 months ago. I believe that sales were down by about 75%. I got a call from one of my friends in that industry, and he said, "Vincent, you said something about, sales down about 75%. I said, "Right." He said, "You're absolutely right." And it took him, 6 to 9 months to admit that those numbers were right. Now, those were just estimates. Now, you're talking about 50% business being off 50% in the transmission repair business. And I can see that as well.
Well, it's the problem is so consistent that corporations that operate out of Heartland America, Iowa, your neck of the woods there in Missouri, or even in the neighboring states that are manufacturing, that they have a pretty hard deal to get a foot into the European market, where the transmission businesses or the automotive parts businesses is still in good shape. And a lot of these companies failed that because they were so happy with their businesses they had, and it took them 5 years to acknowledge the situation that their businesses were going downhill, and for many of them, that came too late.
And when I went to Hartville in the last few days to the bank, I don't think they saw it the way I saw it. They're there every single day. I'm there maybe once a month, and they were kind of shocked when I said, "Who killed Hartville?" It's obvious. It's obvious that the community of Hartville is done. They just don't know it, and that's one of the problems with American business. I can see decline. It's obvious to me, and yet they're building new businesses, and they're acting like there's a recovery, or they're acting like business is booming, and at the corporate headquarters they don't seem to understand that business is generally in decline. And I guess what you're saying is we're obtuse here in the United States.
Let me share you a story my wife just went through. She was last week in New York, in Brooklyn. And she went shopping, so she went out for her spray there. And she's a very smart shopper. She's only buying heavily reduced or clearance items. So she went out and she went to one of the major brand chain stores, outlet centers, and lo and behold, she bought products that had a price tag value of $970 something. She bought that for $120 because even there they couldn't sell everything off, and they were taking. They even left it in boxes, and they didn't care about that. They reduced it so much that it was pretty hard for my wife not to buy it.
I was in the same exact position a few weeks ago. I was at an event, and I was able to buy something. I was able to buy items that I was shocked at the price. And it was, the guy behind the counter said, "Look, tell you what, cash is king." And every time I went back, the price got lower and lower. And it was at the point where there's no way I could refuse purchasing some of these items. I was shocked at how I believe that I was buying it for below cost. That's what I'm saying.
Well, sure. And hello, John Ragan. I apologize for not saying hello at the beginning. The interesting part here with the United States, from our point of view from Europe, is that in the flourishing 80s and even at the beginning of the 90s, life was very easy, and everybody was trained to just become a cog in the wheel, to have a job and base the fundament of life on credit. And this is something that happened here in the beginning of the 2000s. Other than that, here in Europe, we had a tradition on saving money and then spending the money, and not living from one credit card to the other. And now you see the limitation to where the American populace has brought itself to, because that credit card system is only working for the ones that are really making the larger portion of money in the country. The other ones are facing the situation that they're thinking on a day-to-day basis just in order to keep their mouth fed, and that's it. So the decline with you, for us here, is an inevitable situation. And first they brought you liberty, and now they bring you freedom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. John Regan?
And it's like I've been saying the past few weeks, we're seeing all the ducks line up now, and all the mile markers are, between us and the collapse, we're now seeing quicker and quicker. And I can't tell you exactly what the event's going to be that finally wakes people up, but by that time, it's there won't be any time to prepare.
John, from our position here in Europe, the United States are not done. The United States are very wealthy. The United States, I mean the square in Washington to the river. Other than that, America, the other part of America that is the larger portion of it, is economically done. Corporations from here have problems in dealing with businesses there because of a cultural difference, and because of work in a timely manner when time of delivery has to be met. Things are not going that smooth anymore with American companies. So from our point of perspective, dealing with American corporations is a thing you really do not want to do, number one. And number two, the reliability of goods from there was dropping dramatically, because even in using source materials or materials you finish a product out of, went down to the point where they ask the question, where can we make a dime out of that? So economically, doing business with an American company has become pretty tough.
Miles, are you saying, I'd like to make sure we get this clear. Are you saying that our ethics are substandard now? Our ethics are not what they used to be. The materials that we're supplying are now substandard and questionable. Is that one of the things that you're saying?
When the American Army and Air Force left post bases and camps here in Germany or in Europe, they always had a parade, and they left everything in a clean manner. I apologize. They left everything in a very clean manner. Looking back at the last 10 years, even that is not the case. They just move out. They leave the trash there, and they don't care about that anymore. And I find it very picturesque to see the same thing with the American populace. They don't care about these things anymore, because first they have to think about how to survive this week, and then they have to think about how they survive next week.
So that statement from the lady behind the bank, the lady who was on the other side of the counter, when she said people just don't care anymore. That's what you're talking about. It's me first, and heck with everybody else.
Your school system from the early 1940s on was built on the principles of Professor Wilhelm Wundt. It is like animal training. Go back and I encourage your listeners to find out about Wilhelm Wundt and the Leipzig connection. You've been trained to do certain things. The older generation still was aware of to think out of the box, to be creative. But the more modern your society became, the more dependent on technology or on gadgets or knickknacks and services this society became. And now we're at the point that acquiring all these skills takes so much effort that for many, many people, it just seems not realistic to go there.
You're absolutely right, Miles. Over the weekend, I was looking at Craigslist. I wanted to buy some machines to make parts. I wanted to buy a mill, a lathe, a combination lathe and mill, because I'm having trouble buying parts, so I need to make them, right? So I found this auction, and I saw how they were selling some fabricated devices, machines that were homemade to make things. And I'm thinking, wow, these are really clever. However, I haven't seen anybody do it in the last generation. Our generation doesn't do it. It was the previous generation, the World War II generation, that made these little machines. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Making the right decisions is a challenge to investors. Are we going to see economic growth, slide into a recession, or at worst, depression? Hi, Tim from Midas Resources. We all know when a company acts irresponsibly, divesting ourselves in a move towards safety is prudent. When the market becomes volatile, U.S. Treasuries are a safe haven. But what do you do when the U.S. government overextends itself and spends beyond its means? Many investors are turning toward gold as a common-sense alternative to traditional paper investments. Midas Resources has put together a powerful book titled 10 Reasons to Own Gold, discussing costs, benefits, risks, featuring full-color illustrations, weights, and measures. The book is free and can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. Paper investments are dwarfed by gold's 6,000-year history. Discover how gold may be right for you and your IRA by calling 800-686-2237. Whether buying or it's time for you to sell, the book is free. Call 800-686-2237.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
You pick up the receiver. With your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead, you finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Jason! Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the host you're listening to right now, online at GCNlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at GCNlive.com.
Captain John Regan's with us in Texas. Miles from the European Union is with us. And we've got Michael from New York on hold. Michael will be with you in a few minutes. Miles, we're talking about the American economy. And here's a question I have for you. When the satellite goes down, the EU Telsat, Hotbird 13B, that Broadcast USA prepares over Europe and North Africa and part of the Middle East. I hear that they get a lot of complaints at the satellite uplink company when there's a problem from Europe. Do people in Europe listen to USA Prepares?
Oh, you have many listeners over here. Not only here, in fact, you have listeners not only all over Europe. You have listeners going down to the Middle East and even to the Far East from here. Basically, ones that I know that live there, many of them do listen to USA Prepares and to your show.
I find that fascinating because, a lot of what we talk about is just, things that are happening here in America. And so can I ask you why that is that they listen?
Our economies are so fragile that at any point in time now, when the dollar collapses, other currencies will collapse as well. And it is a matter of being prepared for all happenstances or circumstances in that situation then. That's why your show is so valuable, and that's why you have so many followers over here in Europe with your show as well. And we pay kudos to you for your show as well as to your instructors. And here especially John Regan, because he's keeping up information at the pulse of the time that have an impact on the rest of the world, or that will have one in the future. And I'm just naming one here, that's Spytech, that's rolled out even faster than here in the European Union or in the US in these so-called emerging economies.
Miles, one of our class members, her name is Sherry, called and asked if we could do a broadcast about alternative currencies. How do we roll one out? How do we trade and barter with each other in our communities as we spiral down economically? And she asked if we could do that. And I thought of you. And I said, yeah, we've got a guy who can teach us how we can barter with each other, because I mentioned that you have an hours bank where you work in the European Union, and you all contribute time, and your time as an engineer, for example, is worth the same amount as the guy who drives a backhoe, as the same amount as the guy who sutures wounds, right? I mean,
exactly.
An hour's an hour. And would you be willing to, help us with a broadcast in the next few weeks or so about how we can do that and how you're doing it in the European Union?
Sure, would be delighted to do that with you.
Okay, all right. So I'll contact you and through the normal channels, and we'll arrange that. I'm looking forward to that.
I will send you a Skype message on that, and then or a message with email, and then we get to it. Gentlemen, I'll let you go. John Regan, I apologize for jumping into the financial state of the union. You're doing a great work, and thank you for all your work. So I'll let you go with that. Have a great day. Thank you.
Miles, thank you so much. John Regan, Miles, I don't know if you talked with Miles before, John Regan?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Miles, believe it or not, has stayed in the background. He is a senior USAPrepares.com instructor. He speaks 7 languages. English is not his native language. He's a brilliant engineer, knows a lot about a lot. And we've had him on the Bunker Files many times. And now you will hear coming up in the next few weeks more of Miles from the European Union. John Regan, we have Michael from New York with us. Michael, welcome.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. Always great to listen to you. And yes, thanks for the background on Miles. Obviously, highly intelligent man. And I'm glad he mentioned that they're in trouble, too, because I was first commenting that you got a break coming up, Vincent? I'll hang on.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Michael's going to hang on. Captain John Regan's with us. And, John, what else do we got coming up? We're going to talk more about Spytech?
Yes, we are.
Oh, boy. Captain John Regan, I'm Vin Finelli. Meet up tonight, Jimmy's Egg, 4:45 to 8. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com. and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right, that's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100-foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
Heart and Body Extract continues to receive positive testimonials from people who have experienced amazing results, like Reed.
I just wanted to send you a quick but a very big thank you for Heart and Body Extract. I've been on the formula for nearly a month now, and the improvement in the circulation of my legs has been simply amazing.
Reed was facing a tough choice.
I was facing surgery due to the severity of the 100% blocked arteries in both my legs. And my decision, waiting for surgery, to say no and try Heart and Body Extract instead, has been thankfully the right decision.
And the result?
I can now walk up steps without noticeable pain.
Order Heart and Body Extract at 866-295-5305, 866-295-5305, or hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract for a long and healthy life.
Attention taxpayers! If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 877-345-7645. That's 877-345-7645. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately at 1-877-345-7645. That's 1-877-345-7645. 1-877-345-7645.
Hi, this is Steve Sanchez, and based on a recent study, it was found that 57 million Americans had legal issues over the last 12 months, but only 60% of those studied sought out the services of a lawyer. Why? In a nutshell, affordability. Well, my friends at Legal Shield have created a solution that can help you not if, but when you need an attorney. For as little as $17 per month, Legal Shield will provide you unlimited access to qualified attorneys at an accomplished law firm for advice and counsel on legal issues, no matter how serious or trivial. For over 40 years and with 1.4 million families across North America, Legal Shield can help you, the loyal GCN listener. Representatives are standing by now to answer your questions, so call them now at 1-855-340-SAVE. That's 1-855-340-7283, or visit them at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com.
Results will vary from case to case.
Captain John Regan's with us, and Michael from New York. Please continue.
Well, thank you. And so I was going to comment that, but Miles covered it right at the end, that, Europe is in deep as much trouble as we are over here, all due to the same problems. And ultimately, as you guys always cover, it's due to being lazy, selfish, and soft. Americans used to be hard, tough, independent, individualistic, creative, trying to do things on their own. Now they reversed it all on us due to these vices of selfishness, stupidity, and at the same time believing they're smarter than they really are. And but ultimately, gentlemen, our problem here, as it is over there in Europe, is this phony money supply and the debt-based currency. And until we get rid of that and hang all those guys and their agents and have our own lawful currency that's debt-free, that can't not be inflated and has intrinsic value, we will constantly suffer under these kinds of conditions repetitively. And so that's really the ultimate problem. And last, do you guys know of anybody that's where China's importing from a country rather than constantly exporting? I have an opportunity, guys, where I could very lucratively make a lot of money off Chinese. They want my product, and they want it bad. And the only problem is, number one, they want to rebrand it, and I told them I'm not going to allow that because I want the Chinese to know it's an American product, it's an American, total American materials, and that's who's keeping them healthy. And number two, though, as I look at this latest intercontinental ballistic missile supersonic speed that the Chinese are launching off their latest battleship, compliments of the Bushes and the Clintons, etc., I don't know if I really want to help keep them healthy. So I'm in that dilemma. But that's integrity right there, guys. Willing to forego getting rich, materially, financially rich, because of that reason alone. I'm willing to step down, a step away from that, just on that reason alone.
Well, you're one of very few. There's no question about it. We are seeing the collapse of the United States from within. We are seeing the lack of integrity. We are seeing the lack of loyalty all around us. We seriously are. I'm not kidding. And just like the Clintons, I've been trying to think of a worse nightmare than Hillary Clinton becoming president. I can't think of one. That's like the worst thing that could possibly happen. They've been selling out Americans for years, and give them the White House to do it, that's the last thing that we need. So you're absolutely right, Michael. You're right. And I applaud you for not willing to sell us out. However, where are the markets? How about Europe? I mean, if you've got something that good, why don't we put you in touch with Miles? And
absolutely,
maybe you guys can...
I have a lot of clients and opportunities in Europe, but they're under that Codex Alimentarius thing. Like I can't even get anything into Spain. Unfortunately, trying to help people there and unable to. But absolutely, I want to help Europeans and Americans. I want to keep them tip top healthy. And also do it very, very economically, and also set it up so that anybody can make money as well, distributing wise, and that's really my goal. I want to keep us healthy and superior in every way. And
it's going to be really tough. It's going to be I will help you, Michael. Send me an email, please, Vincent at usaprepares.com. Vincent at usaprepares.com. And I will be in contact with Miles. I will share your contact information with him, and then it'll be up to Miles to see if there's a fit. Okay, I'm glad to do that.
And I'll be more than happy to do that as well, gentlemen. And as always, keep up the great work. I do appreciate your honor, integrity, and your loyalty, patriotism. So God bless, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Michael from New York. John Regan. It does my heart good to hear. There's still some of us left who will not sell out.
And in thinking about some of the things that were said, we had one of our teachers at the reunion. I believe he was 10th grade history, and he's now 91. So we were taught by somebody that, came in before these new systems were introduced. And also to put some things in perspective, I started going to college the summer before my senior year of high school. And by the time I graduated, I had accumulated, among other things, 9 semester hours of computer science courses. I was the only person in my high school that had computer experience. Of course, today that's 100% pretty much have some form of computers, and either smartphone, computer, a game station. A lot of change in the last 40 years.
John, when you talk about computer experience today versus computer experience of the 1970s, computer experience of the 1970s was assembler program, Fortran, COBOL, BASIC, C, the C later on, and you look at the young people today, and their grandparents will say, "Boy, I'll tell you what, Johnny is a whiz. He's a whiz. He knows everything about computers, Microsoft Word, spreadsheets. Boy, he really knows." That's not programming. That's like reading the user manual. What do you think?
Very much so. And we had to be so inventive because the resources on the computers were so small that to do anything required skill just to get the job done.
What you're talking about is writing a program that would accept data, and you had 4K of memory. 4K of memory, not 4 gig, 4,000 bytes of memory. And then, man, oh man, when it doubled to 8,000 bytes, 8096 bytes, that was unbelievable. Then 16. My first computer had 4K of memory. It was Southwest Technical Products computer. It was a Motorola 6809. I built it. And it had 4K of memory. And that memory was $495. And I soldered the actual memory circuits onto a circuit board. We'll call them integrated circuits, memory, or we can call them memory chips in a package. That's what I did, and it was $495 just for the memory back in $1980. It was pretty expensive back then.
Yeah, and the smartphone that I carry around with me, that's more power and capacity than the mainframes I worked on in the Air Force.
Yeah, and way more power than the alleged computers that allegedly got us to the moon and back.
Yeah, the Hewlett-Packard 65 calculator had more power than the Apollo computers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember those. Hewlett-Packard handheld programmable calculators. They were pretty sophisticated. Yeah, back in the 70s. John Regan, so let's talk about spy tech. Let's hit some buttons.
Okay. Well, let me run through all the spy tech and control, and then we'll discuss it. Okay. First up, Facebook denies that it's collecting all those posts when you something hits your button and you start replying, and then you decide it's better off to cool down before you post it. There's an Irish technology consultant that has used some software that shows that what you type into that box gets transmitted to Facebook, and no telling where it goes from there. We have car thieves that are stealing cars by using basically a signal extender, so that it's so that your car is able to communicate with your key fob, and so it doesn't know you aren't there, but it'll unlock the door and start the car. And these devices can be bought for as little as $17. I've got 3 articles there that have where companies like General Motors and John Deere are using intellectual property laws to try and make it difficult or impossible for you to work on your own cars and tractors. And if the Trans-Pacific Partnership goes through, then that can get even worse. We've got the leftists wanting to get rid of all of the so-called fossil fuels by 2050. And we've already covered that, it's about 88% of energy we use comes from these sources. And to get that changed over in 35 years is just not realistic. And life insurance apparently is going to be like car insurance, where you're going to be monitored if you want a better rate. So life insurance you'll have, in conjunction with Obamacare, be monitored for what your activities are. Just like with the car insurance, they want to monitor how you drive as well as how much you drive, and ultimately charge you by the mile and make it impossible for you to afford to have free range transportation. Vincent?
Well, let's start with Facebook. And one of the things that you mentioned was that, we've been saying that you've been tracked even when you hit the backspace key. So, if you say, let's say you're a 13-year-old girl and you have a fight with your 13-year-old friend in school. He's a boy, and we'll call him a boyfriend. And you wish you were dead, and you type in, I wish you were dead, or I'd kill him. But you hit the backspace key. You hit the backspace key, so it doesn't get posted. Well, John, it looks like Facebook captured those keystrokes, the part where you wanted to kill him, even though you didn't post it. It's just a thought that you typed on the keyboard and in an emotional rant, and it's there for as long as Facebook wants to retain it. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Attention taxpayers! If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 877-345-7645. That's 877 1-877-345-7645. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you have been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately at 1-877-345-7645. That's 1-877-345-7645. 1-877-345-7645.
By now, you may have heard a bit about Bitcoins, but did you know Bitcoins are now over an $8.5 billion market? And did you know that over 65,000 businesses now accept Bitcoins? Listen, if you're already earning Bitcoins or trying to make money in the Bitcoin market, you've got to know bidbit.co. Why? Because bidbit.co is where you can easily receive Bitcoins by selling and auctioning off your own personal items or promote business products and services for Bitcoins. You heard right. Whether personal or business, you can now buy, sell, and auction your products and services quickly, easily, and securely for Bitcoin at bidbit.co, the first and only marketplace website to offer BidBit Escrow, a proprietary technology which gives buyers and sellers security and peace of mind because all transactions are protected. Start today. It's free to join, free to post, free to auction, and free to bid at bidbit.co. Buy, sell, bid, or auction everything Bitcoin. That's www.bidbit.co. Bidbit.co.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Captain John Regan is with us. And John, you know, back in Springfield, Missouri, a year and a half, 2 years ago, there was this phenomenon. And these key fob locking, keyless remote starting vehicles got stuck in a mall parking lot. And the drivers would get out of the car, lock the vehicle, go shopping, come back, and they could not get back in their vehicles. So the dealership would come, tow the vehicle away, bring it to the dealership lot, and these were multiple brands. And they could start the vehicle right on the trailer and drive it off, and they found nothing wrong. Well, no one in Springfield was able to figure out what was going on. I called Bert Bertonis, USA Prepares engineer in California, and I explained what the phenomenon. He said, "Oh, okay, it's a third harmonic. It's a third harmonic of an FM transmitter. So someone obviously put an FM transmitter near the parking lot, and the third harmonic of center of the dial of FM transmissions. FM is 88 to 108 megahertz. 100 megahertz is, if you multiply that times 3, you get the third harmonic, and that was the frequency of these remoteless start vehicles. So the antenna that was put near the parking lot was overpowering the remote start or keyless entry transmitters from the key fobs. And it was preventing the signal from reaching the car from the key fob. So here we have, some guy hooks up a transmitter for FM and it's preventing cars from operating. And my thought on that is, why would I want to have one? Why would I want to have one of these things? What's wrong with carrying your key with you and putting your key in your door lock and then taking that same key and putting it in your ignition and starting your vehicle? What's wrong with that? So you extrapolate that out, John, and you look at General Motors and John Deere wanting to make repairing your machine that you bought from those two companies, General Motors and John Deere for the tractors. They want to make the repair by you of your equipment illegal because they have these programs running in the operating system to make these vehicles do what they do. Yes?
It goes beyond that, just the keyless entry. For example, our new car, if somebody took a picture of our key and made a duplicate key, that would not start the car because it doesn't have the chip.
Right.
Whereas if they can communicate with that chip with a copy of the key, they can start the car.
Right. So why would we want this, John? Why would we want to have a vehicle? How much is a key for that vehicle with the chip?
I don't know, but it's not the $1 or $2 like car keys used to be.
Yeah,
and it's billed as a security feature.
Right. Probably upwards of $500 to get a key for your vehicle, which is insanity, absolutely insane. And I used to be a supporter of John Deere equipment, and I have right here at the farm we have 3 John Deere tractors, and they work great. None of them is computer controlled. And what's happening is farmers are now looking for older equipment because they don't want to be held hostage by John Deere. They don't want to be held hostage. Now, the tractor that I have, our neighbor has a tractor, and it's about the same horsepower rating as ours. Ours is a 1985 6-cylinder, very heavy tractor. If you want to look it up, it's model number 2950. It's made in Mannheim, Germany. It's a really good piece of gear. Well, our neighbor has one. His tractor's a little smaller. It's the same horsepower rating, and his has a 4-cylinder engine that's turbocharged. So they figured out how to get a 4-cylinder to have the same power as a 6-cylinder. I believe that ours is more powerful than his, even though it's the same horsepower rating. Now, why would I want to have one that's computer controlled? I wouldn't. Because I don't want to be held hostage. John, what do you think? Do you want to be held hostage by the manufacturer? You have to bring it to them. Can you imagine bringing a 12,000-pound tractor to your local dealer for a tune-up?
Or it doesn't run and you have to get it into the shop.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a huge problem. You need a big trailer to haul it around a 10,000, 12,000-pound tractor. A big trailer. Like a gooseneck. John Regan, thanks so much for being with us. Boy, we didn't cover it all. And I guess that's the way it goes. Right here at USA Prepares. Above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit GoBerkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey guy.